Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. This week we've got two brilliant actors of the film Macbeth, Andrew Brunsberg and Patrick Stewart, on the show. Hi.
Here are two Macbeths in front of me. So confused. Which is which?
I'm Macbeth in 2010, and Andrew is 97, right?
Yeah, but 1971 actually.
So, Macbeth is one of the four great tragedies written by William Shakespeare, and since it is very, very popular, lots of adaptations of Macbeth have been filmed, each of them interpreted and played by different actors. Through two screen adaptations, our show will examine the character development of Shakespeare's popular tragic hero, Macbeth. Here, Macbeth's mental state continuously changes over time as he faces the moral scruples when trying to achieve his overwhelming ambition in reality. So we are going to deconstruct three parts of Macbeth, which correspond with Act 1, Scene 7, Act 3, Scene 4, and Act 5, Scene 8 in the original text, through your actings. Andrew, in the film, you adopted new places such as balcony to differentiate from the real Act 1, Scene 7 of the original text. Why did you intend to do so?
I started this soliloquy sitting beside my target of murder, King Duncan, in the dining hall. I intended a dramatic irony to reveal Macbeth's dark ambition against virtuous Duncan. Here, I constantly use my hand to grab, rip, and eat the food, which visualizes Macbeth's mental instability agonizing between ambition and fear. I basically tried to show his moral scruples more effectively, produced by the challenge to the nobility of Duncan. Then I frantically evacuated the room as a means to show his convoluted mind and kept his speech in the balcony, gazing at the raining night sky. It was my purposeful choice to show a screwed mind, followed by the disparity between trust gained and the duplicity of an evil idea against chain of being. Also, night symbolizes darkness of mind and shroud from the heavenly side of justice on his upcoming criminal act, which eventually foretells the tragic end of the play. Oh, so you tried to interpret in your own way through places to effectively convey the characteristic of Macbeth that how is anguished by ambition and consciousness of his evil thoughts. Then, Patrick, you also presented a novel interpretation of the soliloquy scene on your own. I absolutely enjoyed your acting, but I wonder of your choice of adding more actions not described in the text, unlike you filmed in the passageway between dining hall and kitchen as the text.
Yeah, there were lots of cutlery, and Rupert, our director, allowed us to use them freely. It was during banquet, and Macbeth was welcoming guests.
We'd jump the life to come.
I thought it was good idea to open a wine. Then I deliberately poured it into a clear glass bottle so that the audiences can see the color of wine, which is very similar to the color of blood. I wanted to foreshadow Macbeth's addiction to blood that will cause him tragic death at the end.
So, as you pour wine in a wine glass, the camera occasionally shows Lady Macbeth in the process of your soliloquy of confusion in mind. Is there any purpose in utilizing this method?
Besides,
That's because Macbeth is glimpsing at Lady Macbeth, who is treating guests in the dining hall. He is in thither because he feels guilty and unsure about murdering Duncan, because he is aware of fact that his plan is against the chain of being and the justice will get even with him for his sin. I spoke softly and quietly to show Macbeth as a human being struggling for private ambitions. Although it was the same soliloquy scene as Andrew's, you focused on the inner conflict of Macbeth, whether or not practicing the murder and foreshadowing of the consequence. Great! Then in Act 3, Scene 4, oh, I really love this scene. You become extremely insane in front of the Thanes, gathered for the celebration of your throne, because you meet the appalling apparition of Banco that you murdered. Andrew, Patrick, you succeed in acting this scene dramatically. So, how does your acting show this character change followed by the sudden meeting of Banco?
A series of frantic actions. Stepping backwards to avoid the approaching ghost, shouting, dropping my body into the staircase, visibly trembling eyebrows, lips, and hands, changing tone and pitch with vibration of the throat and fumbles on words. Macbeth has been absolutely vulnerable and anxious at the consequences of his immoral choices. So, I mostly try to express Macbeth's complicated mind caused by the isolation that he can only see the horrific illusion. Although his character gradually changes into a cruel tyrant later, through this acting, I wanted to express him as a human who feels fear and owns weakness as other common people, although with vaulting ambition and social position. However, unlike these insane behaviors at the appearance of Banco, I intended to recover convoys very quickly, which tells his mental transition to the complete brutality and paranoia according to the terrifying appearance.
Yes, it is an unusual scene for actors, but I really enjoyed filming it. This scene, I tried to effectively show how Macbeth becomes psychologically insane. As I saw the ghost of Banquo, I breathed hard and groaned to articulate horrified and panicked condition of Macbeth. Macbeth is now psychologically unstable. His consciousness collapsed, like a wine glass falling when Banquo walks under a table. Macbeth's consciousness weakened like a glass because of feeling guiltness and insecurity after his hideous deeds, can no more distinguish between reality and illusion. That's why Macbeth steps on the table, straightly stares at Ghost's eyes, and commands to the ghost with a strong, confidential voice. He doesn't care if it's supernatural or not. He became more ruthless and more evil.
You guys really think a lot for acting this scene. I actually agree with you because this scene is very significant in the play Macbeth, since it is sort of transitional moment from his guilty consciousness to brutality. Now, we want to comment on the last stage of Macbeth's character. In Act 5, Scene 8, how do your actings show the eventual development of Macbeth's character as an archetypal tragic hero? Absolutely stressed on the staircase in this lesson. I stepped down the staircase for fight with Macduff, but attempted to go upstairs after stabbed by Macduff. Then, according to decapitation by Macduff, my my head, actually Macbeth's head, fell down to the ground directly, and my separated body rolled down the stairs in vain.
So great a day as this is cheaply bought.
A chain of behaviors related to this staircase further represents his urge to maintain his throne, although it is fruitless. However, his death and eventual downfall highlight the undesirable end as a tragic hero. Also, it's kind of ridiculous, but I grabbed my crown on the ground during the deathly fight. It reinforces the audience to see Macbeth's strong obsession with the throne itself in accordance with his overwhelming ambition. Despite the tearful attempts, he faces the lonely, miserable death as a tragic hero. It's really sorrowful, actually.
In this scene, a point I considered significant was to leave a brutal and tragic impression of Macbeth behind. When Macduff lunges toward Macbeth to kill him, Macbeth shoots him, and consecutively, he knocks Macduff's head. Here, I maintained restrained and emotionless face till the last. Through consistent facial expression, I wanted to insinuate that Macbeth is finally developed as an atrocious tyrant who is fully dependent to supernatural power.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou
He always trembled with fear of his secured throne, I think that fear brought Macbeth to be a tragic hero because although he obtained the throne that is dreamed of, what he got in return was loss of person he respect, his friend, wife, and his own life.
Yes, his mind was continuously mutilated by conscience and guilt as killing Duncan of good virtue, and he was living with the mental instability after the commitment of crime. However, this convoluted state of mind eventually leads him to a ruthless tyrant and to the death. Overall, I really enjoyed your actings in these particular scenes as showing how Macbeth has changed from a noble warrior to an agonizing but brutal tyrant. It was really meaningful time to have a talk with you, Andrew and Paycheck, especially about the quality of Macbeth as a tragic hero. Thank you for coming to our show today. Thank you.
Thank you.